Hey guys, this is Tiffany with the Nerdettes, and I'm here to talk about the newest episode of Walking Dead. This is season 8. Wow, it doesn't seem like it. Episode 1, and it's called Mercy. Now, this is the 100th episode. It's crazy to think how far that this show has come, and just, wow. So, I mean, and it really, this journey that all these characters have been on really does hit home this episode, I think, especially for Rick, for me, and also for, obviously, Carol and Daryl. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But, so it just picks up right where it left off. It's, it shows Rick, and we see Maggie and all those familiar faces that we love. We see Sanctuary getting, still the same as it was. We see kind of like that passing of the faces, just to kind of remind you where everybody is. Rick is kind of rallying everybody together. But here's the interesting thing about it, and it really reminds me of Breaking Bad. They kind of did this as well. I think it was like second or third season. They kept going between the pool, and then they would go into the regular episode. And the whole time you're like, what is up with this pool scene? Why is there a bear or a floating eyeball or all this stuff? Like, what does it mean? What is the meaning of this? And it would just kind of leave it there. It reminded me of that episode, or I should say that season, because it starts off with like a cane, and it keeps coming back to this cane. And obviously you quickly learn that it's Rick's, and Rick is like an old man. I don't know if this is like his dream, or where he sees himself, or maybe if they're flashing forward to where they're going to end this, maybe. I don't know. But we've started to see, I guess, maybe where he sees himself in the future. And it shows him, much older. It shows a much older, older Michonne. His daughter's fully grown. I mean, I don't recall seeing Carl, which kind of threw me off a little bit. I don't think we did. So we'll see what happens with that. But it just shows all this community that's been built, where everybody's okay to go across to their neighbors, and they don't seem too worried about the world. And it's almost like he's having maybe an existential crisis, or I don't know if it's flashing forward to the end. I have no idea, but it gives you the feeling that he's really. It's almost like he has looked into his own future and knows what's available and what he's capable of having if everything goes according to plan and he lives that long. And at the same time, you get this almost like a juxtaposition of this feeling that he's prepared to die to give everyone else that kind of future. I don't know. It's weird to me. It almost seems like the bed almost looks coffin-like. It's very white. It's very pristine. I mean, it's kind of spooky in a way. I don't know. But anyway, back to this actual episode called Mercy. We see Dwight again, and he gets a letter that is shot to him via arrow that simply says tomorrow. And we later learn that that's from Daryl. And you get the idea that this actual attack and them kind of showing a stance is going to start happening tomorrow. So then it flashes to this meeting, and it's really kind of Rick giving a pep talk. And you see the hilltop and Alexandria and the kingdom all together with, their weapons at the ready. They're all rallying together. You have you have Rick in the middle, you have both leaders with him standing united, of course with Maggie, he's standing with the kingdom, and this is, with Ezekiel, he has rallied the kingdom, Maggie has rallied the hilltop, and here's Rick giving this speech of, we're ready, let's go, we're going to take a stand, essentially. And I thought going back, it keeps going back and forth to that the scene with him and the cane. Did anyone else notice it's Weird Al playing? It's Another One Rides the Bus instead of Another One Bites the Dust. So a little humor there to kind of add some, you know, kind of what, you know, to this. But who knows? That was interesting. But I don't know. Don't really know if there was a significance behind that song. Who knows? But yeah, and so it goes back to Carl. That's right, and he's at some sort of a convenience store or maybe like a gas station. It's almost reminiscent of the first episode when Rick saw that girl zombie at the gas station. Sorry, I got something on me, and it reminded me of that. But there's like this guy that Carl sees, and he's talking about mercy, like, and his voice, it's almost like he's a ventriloquist, because his voice, he can, like, it almost seems like he can throw it, and it seems to be coming from all directions in a sense, and Carl can't really pinpoint where it's coming from, and he's asking for just a little bit of food, a little bit of water. And like Carl is going closer to him when Rick shows up and is like, no, you know, and stands between them and kind of runs this guy off and all that stuff. So then Carl just kind of looks at his dad and is like, don't you realize there's not enough? This is not enough. And Rick's like, not enough of what? And Carl says, there's not enough hope. So I don't know what that could maybe be telling of, but who knows. Then it flashes to this list, and it's almost like a cross, like a checklist, and like all these people, it's a list of people to like kill, and they kill like a lookout in a tree, they kill like this group at the center of this neighborhood, all these series of different lookouts, they're attacking them one by one, like picking them off, you know. And we quickly learn that it's Daryl doing this with some friends. Maybe I think Carol is helping, Morgan is helping. I mean, they're all kind of banding together to do this. So that's very. You can see them kind of propelling themselves forward to tomorrow and the epic fight that's going to come. And there's one of the lookouts later that tells Rick, oh, you're going to beg again. Carl's going to die, you know, all this other stuff. Like, your son's got it coming. Just very ominous. Maybe foreshadowing. Who knows? Because we know we've seen what Negan's capable of, what he's come into crosshairs before. And so has Carl. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with them. But yeah, so basically Maggie, she has her own little humor moment, because she talks about how she'll wage war through her second trimester. So I think it's really just to kind of give you an idea of how far along she is, how much time has transpired between these episodes, because that's probably going to be a lot of people's question, is how much time has passed between where we left off in episode 99 and where we are now in episode 100. And so if she's in her second trimester, it's gone quite a bit. I mean, not a ton, because obviously she's not really showing, but she's at least, you know, talking about how this war is going to happen through her second trimester. So we do know that a little bit of time has passed, not a substantial amount though. Rick and, of course, his group finally leaves Alexandria. You know, he leaves Michonne, he leaves Carl there. I'm not really sure what his thought process is. Like, you know, maybe he's just he's expecting the worst, I think. So knowing what Negan has been capable of in the past, you know, he's not wanting to take that chance anymore, so he's leaving them both at Alexandria, and he is going with his own crew, so to speak. So he's rallied forces again with the Kingdom and with the Hilltop, and there they go. So they're at the Sanctuary, and where the Saviors are, and basically it's kind of intense, because they just kind of shoot off their guns simultaneously as a warning. And here we go! The moment we've all been waiting for. Negan steps out on his little platform, on his, porch, whatever you want to call it, on like the staircase, and he's like, oh, well, shit, I'm sorry, I was in a meeting. So and again, it goes back and forth between old Rick. I don't know, again, if this is playing in his mind while he's, challenging the saviors and Negan. I really don't know, but it's kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. We're going to talk about that at the end when we talk about what we thought about the overall episode. But anyway, so Rick tells Negan and his guys to surrender, and it kind of harkens back to the episode where Negan killed Glenn and killed Abraham, in many ways, and we'll talk about that, because Negan tells Rick, oh, you don't have the numbers for this fight, and because Simon and Negan pull open the door to reveal that they have Gregory, and that, like we've known this whole time, Gregory's been the snitch, the little canary that sang sweetly of, all their secrets and what they're planning. So Negan, I almost feel like Negan's had ample time to prepare. I don't know what he's prepared yet, but when we find out, it's going to be a little scary. And we see that Gregory, he's like, oh, the hilltop stands with the saviors. They're not going to stand with you. I mean, this is just kind of scary. So Gregory, no one comes forward. He asked the hilltop to come forward and to not have arms or hold arms against the saviors. And basically, Negan has this wonderful line. He's like, so what do you have to say to Rick and the Piss Patrol? I know some people like that, man. That's what we should call them, the Piss Patrol. So that's a good name. But yeah, anyway, he's like, what do you have to say to them? And he said that the hilltop stands with Negan and the saviors. He tells them not to take up arms against Sanctuary. And no one joins them. I mean, basically, Jesus also, he replies, he's like, no, the hilltop doesn't stand with him. The hilltop stands with Maggie. And Rick actually quotes Negan. He's like, he goes back to talking about surrender. He's like, are you going to make me count? Like, here we go. It's like, when Negan asked for someone to like offer themselves to be sacrificed, he's like, he did the counting as well. So it's like coming full circle here. This whole time you kind of see between all the kind of flashing back and forth to different points, you see that there's a horde of zombies. Sorry, I'm itching and I don't mean to like move all over the place, so I apologize for that. But my hair keeps tickling my arm because the fan's over me, so I apologize. But anyway, so you do see this horde of zombies that seems to be guided in by Daryl, and looks like that he's being helped by Carol and by Morgan and quite a few other people who are trying to, get the zombies to go the way that they want them to. Obviously, it's pretty obvious that they were trying to get them to Sanctuary to invade. So they blow up an RV. They blow up, like, you can see Daryl as he guides them in, blowing up a car here at this cross point, blowing up a car here at this cross point, going to this crossroad and having them, kind of, it's almost like herding sheep, to the slaughter. And Father Gabriel, when they finally get these zombies to Sanctuary, there's just, I mean, at this point, Rick has opened fire, and so has the group on the saviors. Negan ducks and covers. You see Dwight and the rest of them duck and cover. All of his men are trying to get out of there and avoid the shooting. Some of them take up shelter inside Sanctuary, or attempt to, and you see Rick and the gang shooting out the windows of Sanctuary. To what avail, I don't know. But then we see that Father Gabriel he's getting ready to leave as everyone else is. They're jumping in cars. They've got like this, looks like a siding of a house that's kind of armor of these vehicles, and he's trying to get away with the rest of the people going back to Alexandria, or kind of retreating for now, I guess, doing a kind of a, I guess, a tactile, or just, I don't know how to put it, just like a strategic, there you go, retreat. And Father Gabriel sees Gregory, and here's this horde of zombies that's coming in here, and he's like, as a man of faith, he can't let this guy die this way. So he does attempt to save him. Gregory, in turn, actually does not wait on him, even though Father Gabriel says, wait, you can't just run like that. He runs off by himself, actually takes the vehicle that Father Gabriel was going to take, and takes off. And then it goes back to Carl, who is back at that same convenience store or gas station, and he's leaving 2 canned goods with a note that simply says sorry to that drifter, whomever it was that we saw. And the drifter does see him, and kind of, you see him acknowledge that he did this. So what that, could mean for the future, who knows? He may show up at Alexandria and try to take up residence. Who knows? He may end up saving the day, for all we know. But Rick has this moment, because it goes back to him trying to shoot at where he knows that Negan's hiding, and trying to kill him, because he's trying to, part of him wants to make this about his own personal vendetta, and part of him wants to remember, this isn't about me, this is about Alexandria, this is about Michonne, this is about Carl, this is about Maggie's unborn baby, this is about a future for these people, and for me and my family, and the family that he's created. And so he kind of has this moment of acknowledging, finally, like, he seems so, I don't even know what to call it, like lethargic maybe, I don't know, because he's got a lot on his mind. I mean, it's all kind of coming down on him, I think, at this point. Like, he's been so busy, he hasn't really stopped to reflect on what's happened. And like everything that happened with Lori, the way that Carl has been and has gotten and is getting to, his daughter, I mean, everything that's happened, Glenn and Abraham, losing people that he cares about, like the fact that they all have this virus anyways, that there's probably no cure, just everything that's happened. And, he's kind of sitting there almost numb. You kind of get the sense that he's having this, like, I don't even know, like, he's going into war, and it's like the calm before the storm, and kind of like that, the light flashing before your eyes kind of moment. I don't know, but he's really kind of been in this weird kind of state of mind, and who knows what he's thinking or what's going to happen with this state of mind. But I feel like he's on this kind of dangerous line where he could either go kind of, I don't know, where he was at one point, where he was kind of very antagonistic, maybe, where he's not the hero that maybe his people think he is, and just so many things is going on here. So he does in this episode finally say, you know what, this isn't about me. So maybe that's a good sign that he's going to continue to grow himself towards thinking about everyone else and not just himself. Who knows? But yeah, so Father Gabriel, because Gregory has deserted him, he chooses to try to take up refuge at Sanctuary. So he just dives into the closest building that has an open door. The first one he tries is locked, so he runs and finds the second one. It's unlocked. Thankfully, he goes in, and it's dark, and you can hear the zombies. Like, there's a ton now that have like taken over Sanctuary, and they're like trying to bang down the walls and the door and everything else. And Gabriel is still shaking and just very, rattled by this whole thing that's happened. And out of the darkness, here we go, we hear Negan. He's like, I hope you got your shitting pants on. Hope you're wearing them. And you can see Gabriel kind of slowly look, and there's Negan, and he steps out of the shadows. So, oh gosh, so obviously now we know that Father Gabriel is there with Negan. And, you know, he's already got Eugene. Who knows what's going to happen to Father Gabriel? Another hostage situation? Who knows? But it does flash back to Rick. And basically he tells everyone, you know what? As of today, we made this step. Moving forward, today, tomorrow, for the rest of this, you know, war, we've already won. Like, he's so confident that they have already won. So that can only bode ill, as we have come to expect with Walking Dead. Who knows how bad that could bode, but I mean, he's rallied the masses. I don't know what to expect here, but I don't think he's quite as well off as he thinks he is, and we have yet to see what's to come with that. But yeah, overall, this episode, I don't know, like, obviously, at this point, and I hate to say this, I feel like I keep watching for the moments where Negan does appear, where Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you know, comes out guns blazing, comes out with his swagger and his kind of, you know, fuck it attitude, you know. And maybe that's, you know, what I guess a lot of us are watching for. You know, a lot of people still have that love for certain characters, maybe even Negan, who knows. He's like that villain you kind of love to hate. So who knows? You just, everything about him, you want to see. Hey, stop that. Sorry, my dog's being weird. Back up. It's okay. But anyway, so you do want to see Negan kind of get what's coming to him, so maybe that's why we all keep watching. I don't know. But this episode, you can kind of see how they're changing directions and the whole point of view shots, and just the way they're kind of doing things with the whole back and forth between, you know, this person and this person, and it keeps going back to, it's like reading a book where it focuses on this person and jumps around. Maybe because they're doing like they did at one point, going back, it's going to keep doing that till they all come together. Maybe that's what's happening here. Who knows? But it's a little hard to build up the anticipation, I think, doing it that way, because it's kind of, I don't know. It just feels a little odd to me, but I did like the episode. I love the parts with Negan. Just the parts with Negan were the best. So that made this episode worth watching. The title, Mercy, you know, we see it with, you know, the Drifter asking for help. We see it with Father Gabriel trying to show mercy to Gregory and getting shafted for showing mercy. I mean, we see it with many instances in this episode, and I think in the end it's going to either be good or bad. Consequences for each show of mercy will happen, so I guess we'll see what comes of that. But anyway, that's this first episode of Season 8 of The Walking Dead. I really hope to do more. Obviously, we're still doing Star Trek Discovery. I'm still going to do the Orville. I'm still going to do Ruby. And I'm still going to do those wonderful series that y'all love and I love. So hopefully you enjoy that. I'm still going to be doing unboxings of Loot Crate and Loot Anime, of Owl Crate, which was amazing this month, of Scotchbox Japanese Snacks. I'm still going to do an unboxing of Anime Bento when it comes here, so I'm excited about that because it's my first one. I've been following them for quite some time, but I finally bought one. And we've also got a Destiny 2 giveaway, so if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe because you could win Destiny 2, and there's a video actually in the videos we've already done of how to win that and how many entries you can get for different things, so definitely check that out. We've also got another giveaway coming up right before Christmas, so check out that. I mean, if you or maybe a loved one like nerdy stuff, or you want to get that nerd in your life some fun Christmas stuff, or maybe you yourself want some cool nerd stuff, we're going to be giving some stuff away, so check that out. Go ahead and subscribe and just keep up with us, because as we announce it, you'll get to see it first and get your entries in, so that'll be awesome. And we also are going to be doing some gaming, lots of fun videos just for you guys, and hopefully you like those. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thenerdettes. I want to give a shout out to Don the Doctor. If you haven't checked out his show or his channel, go check it out. Don the Doctor is awesome. If you love Doctor Who, if you love comics, he is seriously the best. I love Don the Doctor. Big shout out to him. Shout out to Word of the Nerd. Word of the Nerd is awesome. If you haven't checked out their website, go to wordofthenerd.com. So cool. They do comic reviews. They highlight some amazing cosplayers that really know what they're doing, and just the articles are fantastic about anything you can imagine, from books to anime to comics. It's just a wonderful multi-genre page. So check them out. Get some love from yours truly. But thank you guys again for watching. Y'all are awesome, and hope to see you again later. Bye.